Good evening, Mustangs fans. Josh Redmond here, voice of the Peoria Mustangs for this episode of Around the Stable Coaches Show. You can see joined by co-head coach Blake Ortman. Blake, how have things been going?
Oh, they've been going. We've had some very, very, very hard practices and workouts, and we keep winning somehow. So we must be doing something right.
So, first things first, road trip up to Wausau, Wisconsin this past weekend. First time up there this season, a pair of wins, 6 straight wins coming now for this Mustang squad. The weekend as a whole, how did the coaching staff feel the boys performed up in Wausau?
I was pretty happy. I think after a very long week of hard workouts and practices, the legs were a battle, but they actually were pretty smart about it, and they just did the simple things. I think they got pucks behind their D. It was the first time this year I really thought we just played smart, more conservative hockey, which it isn't really what we normally would play, but they went back to the little bit old school ways, put pucks behind their D, get hard on the forecheck, turn pucks over, and it worked out for us. I think we played pretty well. I think special teams were good, especially Saturday. We killed about 14 penalties, so it was pretty good. I was really happy that we got to kill 14 penalties as well. So it was good to see our PK step up.
And looking more specifically, Friday night, 326 in Tristan Trudell. And then towards the end of the period, Perry Lagatus and Jacob Bland with a power play goal that held up to be the game winner there in that first period. Was it hard getting guys to just keep their foot on the gas pedal throughout the second and third periods, man, having that 3-0 lead heading into first intermission?
No, I think we were pretty opportunistic in the first. I think Tristan's, if it wasn't on the power play, was right at the end of a power play. So we capitalized on those, obviously taking advantage of being on your power play, and then Perry is just a great net front presence, and he banged one home, and it was a dirty one. And those are three guys that we expect to play like that, and we hope that they keep playing like that. And then we get into a little bit of penalty trouble in the second period, so it kind of throws your momentum off a little bit. I still think we carried the play for the most part, and then obviously going into the third period, bodies are a little bit tired. You're just trying to get out of there with your 2 points, so you run a center high sometimes, and we capitalize on opportunities that we had, and I thought we carried the play for the most part on Friday.
And then there, like you said, that second period, Wausau getting to within in a goal with 2 goals, one early in the period, one just past the midway point. Jacob Bland there at the end of the period with his second power play goal of the night. Getting those guys like Jacob Bland going and putting the puck in the back of the net, how does that rub off on other guys and get them going as well?
Well, as a 20-year-old, I think young guys look up to guys like that, and to have those guys produce is expected. It's not really you don't really hope for it. You kind of just expect it as a coach and as a team. You think those guys need to be your best players because they've been here the longest, and they should be your best players. So I think those guys, when they're going and they got the motors going, I think everyone else kind of follows suit, and whatever line you put those kind of guys on, they can get that line going. So we found a good combination this weekend with Candilis, Chesney, and Bland, and it helped us win 2 games.
And looking between the pipes, Joanne Brophy, third consecutive win for Joe. I mean, we've said it a lot of times. Joe he continues to work and each start that he's getting now, he's getting better and better. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely. We have no problem with our goaltending. We love Joe and Kaysen and Cam, and we just want them to keep doing their thing. We know what we're going to get in that every single night, and that's very comforting as a coach. I think our D corner, our goaltending are very consistent, so that helps sleep at night sometimes.
And we've talked about it too, you and I, a few times. Power play, 2 for 8 on the power play. Jacob Bland with both those power play goals. A little bit of penalty trouble. However, the penalty kill was 6 for 7. Success rate there. It seems like as the season goes on and guys get more and more comfortable on special teams, the special teams are really gelling, especially the power play.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were 6 or 7 on Friday, and ironically, the situation we got put in for that one was we had 2 guys that are normal killers in the box, one D and one forward, and our first set of killers did their job because they're used to killing all the time, and then we threw 2 people out that don't normally kill just because we didn't have the bodies that we're used to having for the PK, and they got beat, which it's frustrating, but at the same time, those aren't situations those guys are usually in. So, going forward, I think we're going to be having everyone work on PK and stuff in the practice, just so we're all on the same page. If we do get in situations like that in the future, we can feel comfortable with whoever we have on the ice.
And looking at Saturday night, 5-0 win, second consecutive series with a shutout involved. This time, Kaysen Yamada, first career NA3HL shutout. Kaysen stopped all 28 shots faced. Looking at that game, the game winner came in the second period, kind of a slow first period. Was that the vibe you guys were getting on the bench? Just the first period just seemed like neither team could gain any traction.
Yeah, it seemed like we had heavy legs and we had to get them going a little bit. We were putting pucks behind their D like we did the night before, but it didn't seem like we had the legs in the first period to kind of get first on loose pucks and create those turnovers. So I think once the legs started going, things changed a little bit. And actually, in the first period, we killed 5 penalties. So you spend half the period on the PK. It's not really too easy to gain any momentum.
And that was going to be my next point, but you segued it absolutely perfectly. Second period, game winner, 32 seconds in, newcomer Addie Powell coming off the bench, puck right to him, hammered it home. How did that feel for that young man? First game with in a Mustangs, or second game in a Mustangs uniform, getting the game-winning goal.
Well, I'd like to think he was extremely excited for the goal, but he showed no emotion. So it looks like he scored a few goals, and that's what we brought him here to do. I think we're very excited for Addy. I think he's going to be an unbelievable player for us, and he's a guy that can throw a lot of offense as a defenseman. So I think he's going to be able to help us produce goals, and at the same time be a great shutdown defenseman in our D zone.
And everything from that point on, a little bit of extra jam on the English muffin, Ethan Chesney and Trudell in that second period. Tristan with a power play goal. Third period, Jacob Bland, empty netter, and then Tristan Trudell kind of all on his own, getting the puck, taking it in, and putting one in the back of the net at 1943. Going up to Wausau, first time for a lot of these guys being in that building. Was it a relief to come out of there with 4 points on the weekend?
Absolutely. It's always good to come out in Wausau with 4 points. I think every time we go there, it's snow on the ground. Hotel is a whole nother story. And it's just it's just a great experience every time you go to Wausau. So we're happy to get the 4 points there and get back to P Town.
And once again, Kaysen Yamada saved all 28 shots his way. And it seems like Kaysen, the more he plays, the more comfortable he's getting, the more steady he's getting. Are you guys seeing that same kind of thing from Kaysen?
Absolutely. I think that was a perfect game for him too. He obviously getting a shutout was a perfect game, but he comes in, he makes all the saves he's supposed to. He steals one or two that he has to help the team, and it just looked like he made it look like a very easy game. I think he was in position all night, wasn't too active, ate everything up, didn't give any rebounds, and he's playing with a lot of confidence right now, which is good for us.
And speaking of playing with confidence, coming up this weekend, St. Louis Junior Blues in town, third and fourth meeting, fourth and final meeting at the Owen Center this year. St. Louis coming in lost 8 straight. Their last win was way back at the beginning of October at New Ulm. How are you guys getting the boys prepared for this, for a team that's going to come in hungry and that's going to play physical and try and just control play?
We don't play position, or we don't play the standings. We play the rivalry between the St. Louis. There's always going to be good games with them no matter what. And we did tons of skating this week to prepare because we'd like to outskate them. And we worked on a lot of our structure and making sure we're in our spots. And then today, we touched on a little bit of everything, just doing a bunch of ozone rotations, neutral zone stuff, and some special teams. So we're hoping that the guys are ready to go and revved up this weekend for a good 2 games against the biggest rival, and hopefully we can come out here with 4 points again.
And last time St. Louis in town, 4 for 9 on the power play collectively on the weekend. And as you mentioned earlier, you guys have been working on the power play, the penalty kill a lot here as of late. But is that something you guys look at as well as looking at how you played the penalty kill and the power play last time with St. Louis in town?
Absolutely not. Sorry, we just kind of go off of how we're doing it right now. I think if we would have had a tough weekend on the power play last weekend, we'd be making adjustments no matter what, trying to change personnel and make sure that we are set up for success. Obviously, you look at their power play and stuff and see what they do in their PK, and you make your adjustments to that, but it just matters on how we move the puck. If we don't want to move and we choose to be lazy, then we're not going to have success. It doesn't matter who's on the ice. So, it's more of us just making sure our guys are going.
And looking at that series last time, Mustangs outscoring the Junior Blues 10-3. That includes a shutout. Are you guys preaching through the week? Just let's not worry about that last series. Let's think of what we have in front of us.
Yeah, you almost have to. I think kids are so different these days, where they see that the scores from last time, and a lot of them get a little bit greedy, and they want to get their points and then get their cookies and stuff, and they kind of fray away from the game plan, which is set up. The structure and game plan is set up for them to actually be successful and get points, and you kind of hope that they realize that, but it's just human nature. Sometimes they veer off the path, so we're pretty hard on them, and we're going to continue to be hard on them until the two games are over.
All right, Mustangs fans, we're about out of time for this edition of Around the Stable Coach Show. This weekend, Mustangs at home Saturday evening, Sunday afternoon, Saturday night, 6:30. CityLink Stuff a Bus Night. Fans bringing non-perishable canned food items gain free entry into that contest, as well as a free gift from CityLink. Sunday afternoon matinee. Puck hits the ice 1:15 p.m. at the Owen Center. And don't forget, with the holiday season quickly approaching, head on over to squadlocker.com, search Peoria Mustangs, and get that Mustangs fan of your life, something special. Blake, thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And also, before we part ways here, this is the last home series of the 2022 calendar year. So, last chance to see the Peoria Mustangs before the flip of the calendar into January. But this has been Around the Stable.